right, guys, welcome back. Dr. Stamper here. We're going to talk about dry, flaky skin today. What a great, fun topic. We're in the middle, when I'm doing these recordings, right in the middle of winter. Dry skin, a real issue. Dry skin is, it can be a significant medical issue or irritation. It's rarely a detrimental problem. Dry, flaky skin, like in the really young dogs, like puppies and kittens, whenever we see really dry skin, if it's not associated with hair loss, most of the time it is just that. It's dry skin. It's more common in dogs and cats. A lot of puppies that I see that come in just for their routine wellness puppy vaccines will have dry skin. They're itching, they're scratching. Everybody thinks they have fleas. Sometimes they do. Most of the time, it's literally just dry skin. A lot of puppies, particularly not as much cats, but puppies cannot take their oil glands on their skin are not very developed, and so they can't pull the oils from the bloodstream and deposit. So I tell a lot of my especially my large people with large breed dogs, I say, hey, take a picture of your dog's coat, of their hair coat now, and then in like 6-8 months, take another picture and compare, because right now it'll look a little dull, it'll look a little flaky, and then in 6-8 months, again, when those oil glands have developed, you'll see these dogs, they're sleek. They have the traditional, especially if it's a lab, they'll have that nice, sleek, oily back that you see. So a lot of times dry skin is just simply dry skin. Especially in the young pets, you can mitigate that sometimes with like omega-3 and 6 fatty acids that you can get at the pet store or at the human pharmacy. So call your vet for like dosing. Dry skin and older dogs generally, I should say the younger dog, if they have patchy hair loss, that's different. That's probably going to be a mite, demodectic mite, sarcoptic mange, something like that. So that would be something you definitely want to see if you start seeing hair loss with it. Ringworm would be another common one. So hair loss, that sort of thing, go see your vet, especially at any age with patchy hair loss. In older dogs, a lot of times it's allergies, skin issues, rashes. They'll get little, what we call them epidermal collarettes, which are essentially like little niduses of allergic reaction, and then you'll get a bacterial infection, and the bacteria will go under the skin, radiate, the hair will fall out, so you'll get these radiating patterns of hair loss. That's why we call them epidermal, because they're in the skin, and then collarettes because they look like little collars, and they'll have like hair loss with little red rings around the edge, and everybody always thinks it's ringworm in a 2-year-old dog, and it's just usually they're allergies, and they're just we call it eruptive dermatitis from, again, pollens, weeds, leaves, grasses, that sort of thing. So, and a lot of times that will present as really flaky skin. And in those cases, that really flaky skin is actually not just skin. It's oftentimes like bacterial. It's technically pus, because what's happening is the allergy causes the skin to inflame, and then the bacteria opportunistically, kind of like in people when we've all had a sinus infection, we drain for 2 or 3 days, and then all of a sudden it goes from clear discharge to all of a sudden it's yellow green. It's because that bacteria that lives in our sinuses opportunistically infected, and that's when you start getting miserable, right? Same for the dog. They're itching, scratching, like I said in some of our other questionnaires, chewing, licking their feet, maybe itching their ears, and all of a sudden they start scratching their belly. And then what happens is the bacteria on the skin, unlike our sinuses, starts to infiltrate into the skin, and the body's response is exfoliate. Get that bacteria out. Don't let it. So like if you take some of that scabby stuff in those dogs that are often middle-aged, and you like look under the microscope, it looks just like if you had pus under the microscope. So it's kind of gross. But like if you see really heavy, flaky skin in an adult dog, particularly if they're having symptoms, they're itching, scratching, digging, you're seeing little red sores, that is probably not just dry skin. That is usually what we call exfoliative, because the body is getting rid of that bacteria in the skin. Dermatitis, the infection's there. So usually we need to treat those with allergy meds, antibiotics, that sort of thing. So now some dogs absolutely do just get dry skin. So, if they have real dandruffy, flaky skin, they're just a little itchy, but they have no rashes, no patchy hair loss. Try those fish oils, supplements, those can be effective, that sort of thing. So, now the only one nuance I'll just mention, it's pretty rare, but like cats can have a little mite called Shilletiella. They call it the walking dandruff. So in young kittens, we'll sometimes see little cats, they look like dandruff, but if you look at the dandruff really close, literally the dandruff is moving, and that's a mite. It's really not a big deal. I actually whenever we see it, I'm like, it's Shilletiella, it's cool, this is great. So I'm not cussing at you, I'm saying Shilletiella. It's and that was that's how I learned it years ago. They've probably renamed it to something else nowadays. We actually don't see it very commonly. It's super easy to treat. It's not contagious. It's not a big deal, but it's fun when we see it. So, if you ever see dandruff that's walking, that's not normal for sure. So, doesn't happen on dogs. Although dogs can get lice, cats can get lice. Dogs do not give lice to people, and people do not give dogs to lice. They are species specific. Just if you're ever worried about that. So anyhow, dry flaky skin, it's a real thing. In young pets, probably not a huge deal. Older pets, probably not a huge deal, but it could be allergy issues, and it can make dogs' lives miserable. So if your dog's miserable, come see us. Hopefully we can make him not miserable. Thanks today.